Salam everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the generosity of Ramadan and how we can become generous. If every 10 days of Ramadan we build a new habit and break an old bad habit, then we leave Ramadan having built 3 new good habits to be a part of who I am as a servant of Allah and to break the 3 bad habits that were a barrier between me and Allah. This would be an immensely productive Ramadan. Ramadan is the month that is a reminder of the message and beauty of the Quran. Now, some may ask, what is the Quran symbolic of? The Quran is symbolic of the generosity of Allah, that Allah was so generous that He made the entire heaven and earth for us, the sky above us and the ground below. So Ramadan is a time to celebrate the generosity of Allah, and amongst the greater signs, the generosity of Allah that He gifted us with the Quran and our way of life, the way of Islam. So when someone gifted us something, how do we respond to this gift? How do we use that gift? We respond to the generosity of Allah by being generous ourselves. Because I know Allah is generous, so when I need something, I ask Allah. But one of the reasons behind the generosity of Allah is to live and embody this same generosity that He gives us. This is the month we too should be most generous and most giving. And generosity is something that is often associated with giving something to someone, but today we'll be talking about many different types of generosity. So, you may be asking, what are the different types of generosity? We can be generous with our tongue. We're all up in our faces of our families more than we probably have been ever before. Now it's time to be generous with our families. The Prophet said, "Gift and love will increase," and the greatest thing that we can give our families is our times and words and actions of love. Being verbally generous in compliments. The Prophet ﷺ said the people not only knew how much He loved them, but how much He empowered them in discovering the beautiful traits of goodness in that they have. The Prophet would ask the one who is good in the recitation to recite the Quran, and the Prophet saw that the women that was outspoken in the masjid as appointed as a spokeswoman for the women of the community, empower her to raise her voice to demand and request the rights of her fellow sisters. So let's be generous with our tongue and compliment each other. We can also be generous in our worship to Allah. The Prophet to Allah narrated, "We are closest to Allah when we are in sujood." You can make dua in any language that you may know to show how generous we are in our worship to Allah. When we stand in prayer, we stand imagining Jannah is on one side and the hellfire is on the other side, and imagining that this very prayer may be what determines our path and how we will be in Jannah. The Prophet, he says, generosity is something that extinguishes sins, and it encompasses all generosity. Be generous in our tongue and our worship. Allah was generous and gifted us with the Quran and our eyesight and our hearing and our health. Every single day is an opportunity to be generous. So now make the best of Ramadan and be generous.